Hi everyone, welcome to Medical Microbiology. Today we will continue chapter 11. It's going to be the second lecture and it will talk about the chemical agents used for microbial control. Remember this classification for the agents or the methods, okay, physicals and mechanicals, they are combined in one group. We already talked about these physical and mechanical methods in lecture 1. So today is lecture 2. We will discuss about these chemical agents. So chemical agents for microbial control. So it may be disinfectants. This is used on non-living object. Antiseptic. This is chemical used in living object. Sterilant, there are some chemical that use as a sterilants. This is on non-living object. Degermers, this is on living object, like for example, doctor that want to perform surgery, they usually use degermers. And there are some chemical used as preservative, like in the food, preservative. Some people put the chemicals on it. So some desirable qualities of germicide, rapid action with low concentration, because higher concentration usually more expensive. The solubility in the water or alcohol. Broad spectrum is mean that chemical able to kill different type of microbes with low toxicity to human, to us. Penetration to the surface, non-corrosive, especially if we use in our equipment, and non-staining, like for example, if we use in some place or area that require that place stay the same, the color will not change after chemical application. And of course, affordable, cheap, and ready to be used. Okay, just for information, the chemicals method or chemical agent is actually the most common type of agent that used for prevention of bacterial growth. So this is the most common type of method used in many places, in the house, hospital, schools, and many places, they usually use these chemicals. So this chemical agent can be classified into 3 types. Just remember when we classified the targets, the bacteria, viruses, is also classified into 3 types. Okay, the highest resistant, intermediate resistant, and the least resistant type of microbes. So the same thing with the chemical. There are also 3 classes, which is the highest, the high level. It means that this is the one that can kill endospore. It can be used as a sterilization or sterilants. The second one is going to be the intermediate level. This is the one that may be used for destroying the intermediate type of resistant bacteria or microbes. And the last one is the low level. This is the one that used for least resistant type of microbes. So mostly like antiseptic in this low level type. Because what? Because antiseptic used in also in our body, in our skin. So we will not use higher level of chemicals on our skin. Okay, so high level, intermediate level, and low level. The high level will kill the endospore, so it's used for sterilant or sporicide. The intermediate level usually used for some intermediate resistant bacteria, and low level is used for least resistant bacteria or microbes. This is some agent that used for cleaning or controlling the microbial growth. Like chlorine, for example, many of them is sporicidal, can be used to destroy many type of microbes. This is going to be intermediate level. It has toxicity, so sometimes can irritate our skin, or maybe if it is gas, producing gas that may be toxic into our body. Okay. Iodine, this is also intermediate level. It can be used as sporicidal. Phenolics, this is some of them low, some of them intermediate. This is really depend on the concentration or dose. Chlorhexidines, mostly used for bacteria, fungi, viruses. Some low, some intermediate level. And again, it depends on the dose, the concentration. They are considered as low toxicity to our body. Okay, alcohols, maybe this is the one that we use most of the time to clean or disinfect some area, or even clean part of our skin or body, for example. Mostly used for bacteria, viruses, and fungi. They are intermediate level. It is toxic if it is ingested. Okay. Hydrogen peroxide, this is also we use a lot. They are considered as sporicidal. Some of them high level used as a sterilant, especially if it is high concentration, but they are also toxic to our body. Toxic is ingested or toxic to our eyes. Quaternary ammonium compound, mostly used in soap, antiseptic soap, for example. This is used for bacteria, virus, fungi. Mostly they are low to intermediate level. Soap, antiseptic soap, they are very low level, because what? Because you use it in our body, so it has to be low level type of germicidal. Some mercurial agents, this is also low type of germicidal. Silver nitrate, mostly used for bacteria. They are mostly low level. Glutaraldehyde, this is one of the sterilant, liquid that used for sterilization. So therefore, this is sporicidal. They can be used for removing or destroying endospores. So make this. This is usually used for sterilization. Orthotaldehyde, this is also sporicidal, but some of them is intermediate into high level. Ethylene oxide, I'm gonna give you the sign also. This is gas that usually used as a sterilant. So it is sporicidal. They can kill or destroy the endospore. Dyes, some dyes is used for prevention also, but they are very low level of germicidal action. So again, this is the category of chemical that used as chemical control or germicidal. Group of halogen, phenolic, chlorhexidine, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, aldehyde, gases, detergent and soap, heavy metals, dyes, and some acid and alkalis. Now we start with the halogen. So halogens, including the halogen is chlorines, iodines, and fluorine also over here, but usually fluorine has a very high toxicity to our body, so less use compared to chlorine and iodine. For example, chlorine, chlorine bleach like hypochlorite is used for water, water disinfection. So many water treatment uh, place using this hypochlorite, or maybe this hypochlorite will be used to uh, in swimming pool, for example. Okay, that's a hypochlorite. Iodines, like iodophore, this is also halogen that used for sometimes disinfection and sometimes also for antiseptic, like betadine, for example. This is antiseptic used on our skin. This betadine and iodophore is considered as intermediate levels of chemical agents. Okay, so chlorine, chlorine gas. This is disinfection in drinking water, for example, use chlorination. Hypochlorite, this is also for chlorination. Okay, common household bleach, for example. Chloramines, this is also chlorine type of chemical used as alternative for chlorine in treating water supplies. So in many bigger water treatment plant, okay, they usually use chloramine because chloramine is considered as safer compared to the chlorine. So, but this chloramine is kind of a little bit expensive, to use compared to the chlorine. Just for example, in Lexington, they use chloramine in their water treatment plant. But for some water treatment plant in Eastern Kentucky, like Pennsville, for example, they still use the chlorine. So chloramine is considered safer compared to the chlorine. I'm going back to the previous PowerPoint over here. I just want to show you why the chloramine is considered safer compared to the chlorine. So if you use chlorine, usually there is a byproducts, like this one over here, 3 halomethanes, and also haloacetic acid, or HAA. It is the byproduct of using chlorines in water treatment plant. And these two chemical, THM, 3 halomethanes, so 3HM, and haloacetic acid, HAA, is considered as carcinogenic. Okay, it can cause cancer after long term of use or long term of contamination in our drinking water. So when water treatment use chloramine, they usually will produce this very little concentration. But if the water treatment use just chlorine, they produce more of this THM and HAA compare the water treatment that use chloramine. Iodophores, like betadine, for example, this is one of the antiseptic. This is most common use for skin and mucosal membranes. Okay, it's used also for surgical hand scrub, which is cleaning the hand of the doctor before performing the surgery. There are some elemental iodine that use also for disinfection of plastic instruments. Remember, plastic instrument you cannot use or put them in the heat uh, uh, equipment and the heat methods. Yeah. Okay, now the second type is phenols. So maybe phenol like carbolic acid or chlorhexidine. So the chlorhexidine is one of the most type of chemical use in some hospital, for example, used for degermining agents, so for degermination. So usually chlorhexidine used a lot by the doctor that want to perform the surgery. Phenol also used in many uh, cleaning product like Lysol, for example. So they also use phenol as active ingredients. Okay, so this is again still in the phenol type, phenolic type of chemical agent. So maybe creolin, bisphenol, hexachlorophene, and triclosan. So this is a type of phenolic agent, including the chlorhexidine, also in the phenolic type of chemical agent. Okay, so this is chlorhexidine. Again, this is, I just give you the sign. This is used in hospital for degermination. Okay, the third type is alcohol type of chemical agent. Okay, they can be disinfection or also antiseptic. Okay, so concentration of 70 usually is actually more effective compared to the 100% of alcohol, because 100% of alcohol is very, very dry. Sometimes it's not penetrate the you know the the place that to be clean, so therefore it's not that effective compared to the maybe 70% of alcohol. Yeah. The most common one used is in medical field is the ethyl alcohol or ethanol. And for household, usually using the isopropyl alcohol. Right? So mostly you will not find ethanol now in Walmart, regular place. It's required mostly, maybe prescription in order to use ethanol, because ethanol can be used also for drinking, for drunk. But the isopropyl alcohol, it has a very bad smell, so it's not really used for some people to drink it, and it is also considered as more toxic to human than the ethanol, because it has bad flavor uh, compared to the ethanol. Okay, so this is just example of nurse using alcohol to clean equipment or maybe clean their hand. Hydrogen peroxide, this is the next type, the fourth type of chemical used for controlling agent. Many of them is used for example, cleaning the contact lens, or also for cleaning the equipment. And if it is low concentration, sometimes it can be used to clean our mouth. The next group is aldehydes. Glutaraldehyde, for example, this is sterilant used for some instrument that cannot be put in the autoclave or in the incinerations. Okay. Formaldehyde. Formalins is the liquid type of formaldehyde. So this is a liquid or aqueous solution. This is intermediate to high level of disinfectant. Gas, and this is the next type of chemical use. Some of them use as sterilization, like this one, ethylene oxide. Okay, this is the most common gas sterilant use. And usually, if using the ethylene oxide, we have to put the equipment inside the chamber. So the chamber will be used as a place to sterilize the equipment, maybe with the ethylene oxide. This is an example of equipment that can be cleaned or sterilized with gas. Okay, so if you see over here, mostly they are made of plastic or rubber that you cannot use, or you cannot put them on the heat type of sterilization. Aldehyde, like glutaraldehyde, they use as a sterilant. So this is a high level of chemicals. Orthotaldehyde, this is high level disinfection. It's not really sterilant, but at least it is a high level of disinfectants. For gas, again, the most common one is the ETO, the ethylene oxide. This is used as a sterilant for heat-sensitive equipment that made from plastic, for example. They usually sterilize with this gas. Detergent and soaps, mostly it's gonna be low level, right? Because it's gonna be used in our skin, in a living object, animate object. So it has to be low level of chemical. Otherwise, it might cause problem into our skin. So many of them is actually alkaline compound. Of course, they are, because it is low level of chemicals, agent is gonna be weak microbiocide. Sometimes it's kill only the least resistant type of microbes. It will not kill the intermediate and the high resistant type of microbes. This is just experiment showing us the difference between cleaning using the antiseptic soap with the normal non-antiseptic soap. This is the number of microbes in our hand, okay, after cleaning with the antiseptic and non-antiseptic soap. If you see over here, the concentration of bacteria stay the same. Maybe lowers a little bit when we use water to clean it, but after that it's growing back. But if we use the antiseptic, mostly it will reduce the number of microbes on our hand. This is example of some antiseptic and detergent. quartz, quaternary ammonium, and soap. Again, mostly they are antiseptic and disinfectant. So for this one is disinfectant. For the soap, it's gonna be antiseptic because it is used in the skin. Heavy metals, there are some heavy metal that can destroy bacteria or microbes. Example is silver, gold. They are also, yeah, okay, this is gold over here. They can also destroy bacteria. This is examples of experiment using silver and gold. So if you see over here, you have what we call the clear zone or zone of inhibition, which is no bacterial growth. So this is clear. Okay, no bacteria. So bacteria actually inhibited over here. So this is what we call the zone of inhibition. Okay? It means that bacteria is actually not growing because of this silver or gold. So these heavy metals kill and destroy bacteria that close to them. But if we see outside over here, this is bacteria that is growing. So you can compare from this experiment which one is more effective. So the higher or the wider the zone of inhibition, the more effective it's going to be. So if you compare between gold and silver based on this experiment, silver actually more effective compared to gold in destroying bacteria. Okay, another metal that can be used is mercury, for example. Silver, of course, silver. So silver has been used for a long time actually for killing or controlling bacterial growth. The last one is dyes. This is color, like paint, for example, that we use. They also have some ability of controlling or killing bacteria. Like some aniline dyes, for example, they are very active against gram-positive bacteria. Some even used as an antiseptic. So they are mostly low level and narrow spectrum. It means that just kill several type of bacteria, not many types. Okay, so acid and alkalis or alkaline. Some acetic acid can inhibit bacteria. Lactic acid can also kill bacteria. Therefore, they use for prevention of bacterial growth. So used as a preservative. Okay. Mostly they are low level type of chemical. So as you know, to preserve food, sometimes people put it in the acidic solution, or maybe in salty solution, or maybe in very sweet solutions, because this type of chemical can also prevent bacterial growth. Right? I think that's all for chapter 11. So we finished chapter 11. We will continue with chapter 12 next. Goodbye now.